everybody, welcome back to That Fiction Life. Today we will be reviewing Sanctuary by V.V. James, aka Vic James, the author of Gilded Cage, My Adopted Children, as I like to call those books. I mean, who doesn't like morally ambiguous aristocrats using their power for evil? But today we'll be talking about her adult book, which is all about witches. Hence this whole get up today. Let's do a zoom in. I hand drew these witch runes, so we have a very dark vibe going on today using the colour palette of the cover. Before we begin, if you are new to my channel, we do all sorts of book reviews, TV discussions and movie recommendations on this channel, so if you are in any kind of fandom, I would love to have you join the ranks. This will be a spoiler-free review, so you can stick around for the whole of it. I will do a very short spoiler discussion right at the end for those of you that have read the book, because I know how much fun it is to exchange theories and things like that, so I will give you plenty of warning before I talk about any kind of spoilers. Without further ado, we're going to dive straight into talking about this book, because this is now my favourite adult mystery thriller. You can imagine my excitement when it was announced that Vic James was writing an adult mystery thriller, because there's something about that genre that doesn't let you hold back, and Vic has completely outdone herself in this novel. The pitch for this book, just like the Dark Gifts trilogy, is so enticing. Big Little Lies meets The Craft. So you can just imagine what kind of small town secrets are coming out of this story. So the main plot follows this very small town, Sanctuary. It is an imaginary town. And in this world, witches are not a secret. So they are pretty much embedded into society. There are separate laws that apply to them. They have their own kind of union that represents their interests, called the Moot, and they represent the rights of witches. There are genuinely laws being invented and clauses added to the constitution and things like that that just apply to witches. Now, if witchcraft is not your favourite genre, that is completely irrelevant, I would say, because this, at the core of it, is a murder mystery, with the police department looking into this murder of this boy. He's the star quarterback of the town, so of course everyone knows who he is. When it's revealed to us that he has seemingly been murdered, an out-of-town detective comes over to Sanctuary to investigate his death. But this is also a very procedural book, so you are looking at transcripts and interviews, newspaper clippings. The detective is going in so deep by questioning everybody, so if you just enjoy crime stories, this is also ideal for you. Now, Harper Fenn, the witch's daughter, is the first to be accused of murdering him. As you get deeper into her character and you find out why she is accused, as she is his ex-girlfriend, and that starts up a whole load of conversation. So as much as I enjoy high fantasy, I think contemporary fantasy and urban fantasies will always be my favourite. Just because I really enjoy seeing how magic can be embedded into our real life world now. It feels very current, and the practices, the way that it's normalized, completely makes it believable. I mean, these people in the town go to the witch for the most random things. If you need a potion for anything, if you want to get rid of a headache, you might not necessarily go to the doctor in this world, you might go to the witch, and that is so exciting to me because it really makes it feel like real life. So I don't think you can fully know an author's signature until they've written something else other than their first standalone book or a series. And now, having read this, I totally understand what Vic's writing style is. Like in the Dark Gifts trilogy, she uses very important social issues mixed in with magic, and I think that is absolutely genius. The Dark Gifts trilogy looked into how social equality worked, the equals who had the magic powers. They were kind of a metaphor to society today and the 1%, and in this book it was the same kind of thing, how we were looking at discrimination and the Me Too movement, which was absolutely eye-opening. But seeing that in the compounds of a very in-depth story, I think it can make a lot of people understand why people might not want to come forward in these cases and things like that. I think your brand, Vic, has become kind of revolutionary, and I can't wait to see what you write next. The twists in this book were absolutely endless, and when I tell you that I was kind of panicking, getting through this case, trying to find out what the hell is going on in this town, Insane doesn't even begin to cover it. Just when you think the plot is about to reveal something underwhelming, or you think, oh, for God's sake, this is so predictable, why are we going down this road? It takes a completely different direction, and made me a little bit unhinged because it was so exciting the whole way through. And this is a very dark book. I think it perfectly personifies what people do when they don't understand something. So the whole witchcraft aspect, the way the town immediately starts to blame the witch, it really puts into perspective what fear can do to a town and how irrational people's thoughts can become. This did have some very important life lessons in it, and I think it is so crucial that this book came out in this century. I think we do need to reflect a little bit on of what we think of other people just based on who they are, to not be so judgmental because you don't know their full life story. The representation in this book is great, and we have high-ranking officials who are LGBT+, and I loved that everyone's sexuality was kind of just portrayed to us so effortlessly. It was just the norm in this town, that the high school headmistress has a wife. I truly recommend that you pick up this book because it took my breath away as to how unique it was. I'm going now to move on to spoilers, so if you have not read this book, I highly recommend you check it out. I will leave some links down below if you would like to purchase it yourself. And also let me know in the comments what you think of this premise. Does it sound exciting to you? Have you already read the book? Spoilers will be happening, okay? So this is your final warning. Hello, have we all read the book? Are we dying of feels? I'm going to make this very short and sweet because I do have some notes that I wrote while I was reading this, and I couldn't resist not putting this in a video. Harper being introduced to us at the beginning, I really thought she was the obvious choice. The obvious thing would be to say the witch's daughter didn't do it, so that's what made me suspicious of her. And also the fact that she disappeared halfway through the story, and we kind of forgot about her whole existence, and the whole ending really snuck up on me. I fully thought Pierre and Isabel was some kind of father-daughter evil gang. Me and my friend Amy were discussing this. How tragic is it that we're automatically programmed to be suspicious of the nice man in the book? You should check out her blog, I will link it down below, it's incredible. But it really made me think, in many books, that's what would have happened. The very overly caring and nice guy is always the killer in these kinds of scenarios. And the fact that he wasn't was so fresh in literature, and I really appreciated that. Maggie is probably one of my favourite people that I've ever read about. From her very first chapter, I knew I was going to be obsessed with her. I swear to God, she was my favourite throughout the whole story. I liked how she approached this case, how she kind of had her empathy and understood just how dangerous it was. I mean, that whole clause, when that was revealed, how witches will die if they used witchcraft, whereas if the human committed a murder, they just go to prison, was so chilling to me. Abigail's kind of deterioration, I guess, was so scary. At first, I thought she was a logical woman, and I know she has just lost her son and it's very traumatic for her. But when I look back on everything that Sarah and her coven went through, for Abigail to turn on her like that, girl. I was so scared that this book was going to have a very put together, kind of anticlimactic ending. In the back of my mind, I kept thinking, this is Vic James, okay? She screwed me over so many times in Gilded Cage, just when you think everything's going to go right. Hello! And that's exactly what happened. When the town started putting up the witch pyre thing, I was hyperventilating because it was getting all too real, and it was dark as hell. I mean, Abigail rallying the town together after Jack died. Can we just talk about Jack quickly, because that was Abigail's husband, right? I don't remember if that was properly revealed to us, but the fact that he ran off in the middle of the night because Jack was getting better and then died the next day, are you kidding? That was creepy, and he needs some therapy. We were suspecting so many people all at once, and then we get that punchline, epilogue type chapter, and when we find out that Harper had powers all along, It was like the perfect puzzle piece, because one of my crazy theories actually was that Daniel was a witch, and it was when he was brought back to life the first time that Sarah kind of transferred magic into him by accident, and I thought he performed the magic at the house party to kind of frame Harper for his death. But whoa, Harper having powers was just the icing on top, because I think she's really badass, and I would really love a book about her future now as a witch, but also having to deal with what happened to her. I would really love to know more about her, because of course the book was told from the other perspectives, most of all because she only had a chapter right at the beginning. So that's everything I have to say about this book. I had an incredible time reading it. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Leave your thoughts below. That's all for this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!